Om. Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Jai Gurudev. So we stopped here at the 17th verse yesterday. Anyone wants to recap the 16th verse? Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drashtontah tvanayos tattvadarshibhi. So that which is sat does not have any non-existence, and that which is asat has no real existence. And tattvadarshibhi, knowers of the truth, knowers of the nature of Brahman, know the difference. They know both sat and asat. And they are not affected by the changing asat. And there's no reason for sorrow. And then we saw the three different orders of not reality, but three different aspects of reality. One was Sat, Asat, and Tucha. Tucha is something which is totally non-existent. Asat is something that as though exists, but it depends totally on Sat for its existence. Sat is that which is eternally present in all three states, does not change. And it's not just Sat, it is Chit. It's consciousness. It's that knowledge principle. And then, because everything, there is only one, there is only Sat and Sat, anything depends upon Sat. Sat is limitless, Ananta and Ananda. So therefore, this becomes the Swarupa of Atma, which is Sat Chit Ananda. So then further Krishna said, Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyayasyasya na kaschit kartumarhati. Idam sarvam, this entire world, ena, by which, tatam is pervaded, tat, that, tu, indeed, avinashi, indestructible, vidhi, no, asya avyayasya, of the one that does not change, vinasham, destruction, na kinchit, na kaschit, no one, kartum, to do, arhati, is able. So, idam sarvam ena tatam tat tu avinashi vidhi avyayasya vinasham na kaschit kartum arhati. Know that by which this entire world is pervaded to be indeed indestructible. No one can bring about the destruction of the one that does not change. Here, Tat refers to Sat, that for which there is no abhava, and that which is understood by the knower of the truth, Tattvadarshi, as stated in the previous verse. That Sat is not subject to destruction, it is avinashi. Moreover, everything that is here, the entire world, is pervaded by this indestructible Sat, Sat Atma. Being subject to destruction, the world is Asat, not Sat. In this verse, Sat and Mithya are made very clear. Sat is other than Asat, whereas Asat is not other than Sat. Sat Vastu is called Vishnu, a word which is being quietly introduced here by Bhashyakara Shankara. That which pervades everything, meaning the entire world, including space, is called Vishnu. This is Sat. Since there is no Asat without Sat, the bhava of the Sat is nothing but the bhava of the Sat. Since there is no Asat without Sat, the bhava of the Asat is nothing but the bhava of the Sat. For example, because the existence of a clay pot is inherent in the existence of the clay, the bhava belongs to the clay and not to the pot. And when we say the pot is, that is Sat. Therefore, wherever there is Asat, there is Sat. How do we get to the Sat? We do not have to get rid of the Asat in order to get to the Sat. Nor is the Asat sitting upon the Sat, covering it up. Just as the pot does not cover the clay by sitting on it, you need not destroy the pot in order to know the clay. It is a question of understanding alone. Another question then arises. When the entire world is pervaded by the Satvastu, is the Satvastu destroyed when the world is destroyed? No. One is Sat, which is not subject to destruction, and the other is Asat. When the Asat is destroyed, the Sat is not destroyed. There is both difference and non-difference here. Non-difference in the sense that all there is bhava, Sat. And difference in the sense that while the Asat depends upon the Sat does not depend upon the Asat. Therefore, we say that there is both non-difference and difference. Because there is no real difference, there is non-duality. The crux of the matter here is that B is A, whereas A is not B. I will read these paragraphs one more time, but just in case anybody wants to share their understanding, please do. So, avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyayasya na kaschit kartumarhati. So that which pervades the entire world, or that by which the entire world is pervaded, know that to be Sat. which is indestructible. No one can bring about destruction to that does not change. So here Tat refers to Sat. Tat we saw in the last paragraph, in the last verse, that Tat is that Sarvanama. Tat can be attached to anything. But Shankaracharya has taken that Sarvanama, the pronoun, to mean all-pervading Brahman. So that Tat refers to Sat, that for which there is no abhava, and that which is understood by the knower of the truth, Tattvadarshi. That Sat is not subject to destruction, it is Avinashi. Moreover, everything that is here, the entire world, is pervaded by this indestructible Sat, Sat Atma. Being subject to destruction, the world is Asat, not Sat. That is our experience also, isn't it? So, like for instance, the bubble that is born from the waves, the water bubble, it stays for a momentary time and it dies off. This can be extrapolated to the whole world. So, anything that is destroyed cannot be Sat. So, and all of Asat is dependent upon Sat. So Sat can be standalone, but Asat cannot be standalone. Asat is always dependent upon Sat. In this verse, Sat and Mithya are made very clear. Sat is other than Asat, whereas Asat is not other than Sat. Sat Vastu is called Vishnu, a word which is being quietly introduced here by Bhashyakara Shankara. That which pervades everything, meaning the entire world, including space, is called Vishnu. This is Sat. Since there is no Asat without Sat, the bhava of the Asat is nothing but the bhava of the Sat. For example, because the existence of a clay pot is inherent in the existence of the clay, the bhava belongs to the clay and not to the pot. And when we say the pot is, that is Sat. Therefore, wherever there is Asat, there is Sat. How do we get to the Sat? We do not have to get rid of the Asat in order to get to the Sat. This is very beautiful, this paragraph. So you don't need to destroy the world in order to get to the Atma. All you need to do is just understand. Nor is the Asat sitting upon the Sat, covering it up. Just as the pot does not cover the clay by sitting on it, you need not destroy the pot in order to know the clay. It is a question of understanding alone. That is why in the previous verse it is said the Tattvadarshi knows both Sat and Asat. They know the difference. Ubayoho anayoho antaha jananti. So, and which is also true when Gurudev says the world out there is there for you to enjoy, to celebrate. Again, it does not mean you will get entangled there, but do it with this understanding that this Asat Jagat is totally dependent upon Sat and it is destructible. Only Sat, the Sat Vastu, which pervades everything, is indestructible. Another question then arises, when the entire world is pervaded by the Sat Vastu, is the Sat Vastu destroyed when the world is destroyed? No. One is Sat, which is not subject to destruction, and the other is Asat. When the Asat is destroyed, the Sat is not destroyed. Simple example is in the deep sleep. When we sleep, the world becomes non-existent, as though destroyed there, right? But then that Satvastu is still there, the I, that that consciousness is still there. So there is both, when the Asat is destroyed, the Sat is not destroyed. There is both difference and non-difference here. Non-difference in the sense that all there is bhava, Sat, and difference in the sense that while the Asat depends upon the Sat does not depend upon the Asat.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, why not?
What is about the black hole? Then it is Sat Asat, because it is, means Sat is always there. So what do you say about the black hole then? Everything is going into it. So it is Sat or Asat?
You are able to perceive that as a black hole, right?
So okay, Asat then. Hmm.
So, by definition, anything that you're able to see and perceive is an object of your cognition.
Hmm.
It is pervaded by Sat, yes, but that also has destruction.
Hmm.
Anything, the visible world, invisible world, all that, the sum total of creation itself
It's Asat.
is Asat.
Hmm. Okay, thank you.
The nature of the black hole is that whatever gets into it gets, absorbed,
Absorb, destroyed. What?
destroyed, or just it just gets sucked in. But then
Hmm.
a black hole is also something that you're able to perceive with your senses, with your
Hmm.
mind intellect. And then, for by definition, anything which is Sat has to be present in all three states of time. That which is not destructible. So there is both difference and non-difference here. Non-difference in the sense that all there is bhava, Sat, and difference in the sense that while the Asat depends upon the Sat does not depend upon the Asat. Therefore, we say that there is both non-difference and difference. Because there is because there is no real difference, there is non-duality. The crux of the matter here is that B is A, that is Asat is Sat, whereas Sat is not Asat, A is not B. It's it's clear, right? I mean, there is only one.
Yes.
In that sense, there is non-difference. No difference between Sat and Asat, because there is only one. But where is that difference? Because the Sat does not depend upon the Asat. And you're able to see that Asat. And whatever is seen is destroyed. Because whatever is seen is apart from you, isn't it? You are the seer and you're seeing something. the indestructibility of the non dual. Shall we move forward?
Yes, please.
The is it possible that Sat, like time, destroys itself by its own nature, creating itself and then going away? No, because it is avyaya, not subject to change. Can anything else other than itself destroy Sat? No, since Sat pervades everything, there is no other. Since Sat Vastu is Ekam Advitiyam, one without the second, there is no second thing that can destroy Sat. Any other is dependent upon this Sat Vastu and therefore has no independent bhava at all. How is it going to destroy the Sat? This would be like the pot destroying the clay. The pot cannot say to the clay, I am bored with you. You are always hanging around me. You never give me any privacy. Wherever I go, you come too. I'm going to get rid of you. The pot cannot get angry at the clay. It cannot get out of the clay and destroy it. Such a possibility does not exist. Therefore, Krishna said here that the Vastu, the Sat Atma, which does not change at any time, cannot be destroyed by anyone or anything. There is no one to effect destruction and no one capable of destroying it. Asya avyayasya vinasham na kaschit kartum arhati. That pot example is very clear, no? Your pot cannot come and destroy the clay. The pot is dependent upon the clay. The clay is standalone. Whether pot exists or not, clay is. Likewise, when we extrapolate it to the Sat Vastu, that Vishnu, Vyapakatvat Vishnu, that Sat Vastu, Atma, that is pervading everything, it is not just pervading, it is Avyaya, it is non changing. That non changing entity cannot be destroyed. It is also the cause of time. So, time is dependent upon it. So, it is eternal, it is beyond time. Regardless of the number of people or objects, Atma is always non dual. No number or condition, activity or connection to activity brings about a change in the Atma. In fact, there is no connection, sambandha, for the Atma, just as there is no connection between the clay and the pot, because all that is there is clay. If there were a pot other than clay, then the clay could establish a relationship with it. But when a pot is clay, there can be no relationship between them. This, therefore, is the nature of Atma.
Gurudev asks always, what is your relationship with yourself? Can you read it again?
Yeah, I will read this paragraph again.
Hmm.
Regardless of the number of people or objects, Atma is always non dual. No number or condition, activity or connection to activity brings about a change in the Atma. In fact, there is no connection, sambandha, for the Atma, just as there is no connection between the clay and the pot, because all that is there is clay. If there were a pot other than clay, then the clay could establish a relationship with it. But when a pot is clay, There can be no relationship between them. This, therefore, is the nature of Atma.
Can you elaborate this little bit?
Atma is sarva vyapi, right? It's all pervading.
Hmm.
Ena sarvamidam tatam. That which pervades everything.
So that sentences, no, the pot and
Yeah. So when the clay is the pot,
what is the relationship of the pot with the clay?
yeah,
There is no relationship. Is it that?
it is the clay. No,
It is
it
all
is
sat.
not. It's
Means like for
nothing other
forms,
than
it
clay.
is sat.
Mm. And what was said? If there was a pot other than clay, then the clay can make a relationship. See, relationship always requires
Hmm.
duality. Father and son, for instance, mother, daughter. So there is a relationship. Whereas if
Means here
if the
example like pot is clay, one pot is of clay and one pot is of glass, suppose. So their relationship will be established like what it said now. If it is other than clay, then there will be a relationship. Otherwise, no relationship.
correct,
So there are different forms. So because of that, then between that forms there is a relationship. Otherwise, there is no relationship. Only the sat is there. Is it that correct?
no, can you repeat yourself? I didn't get your train.
Means suppose there is a pot of clay and
Mhm.
pot of glass. Then there is a relationship because there are different forms and they connect to each other as a pot.
Mhm.
Like that, in the forms, different people have different forms. That's because the different forms are there. There is a relationship between that forms. Otherwise, there is no relationship if we see them as a sat only and we don't see the form.
Correct, correct,
Hmm.
very right. This is what Gurudev was talking about this Navratri. He was in the this was one of the advanced course knowledge videos. He says there are three ways you can perceive the world as tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic. Sattvic is the one that sees the oneness, that sees that sat vastu throughout, in and through, no difference. Whereas the rajasic is the one that sees the difference. The pot is different from the the glass, and the glass is different from the plate. Food is different from the plate. So that difference is seen. And tamasic is the one that does not even, it's totally like in um, an indifferent state, is not even aware, total unawareness. And they also see what is there in their perception, they impute that onto the other.
Means Thomas thinks that is the sat only. This is the reality. Means there is a difference between the reality, that two reality, that confusion is there.
Yeah.
Thomas totally diluted.
So at the end, shall we move forward?
Yes, please.
At the end of his commentary on this verse, Shankara says that no one can destroy this Atma, not even Ishvara, the Lord. But shouldn't God be able to destroy anything? Shankara is not trying to belittle God here. He was merely pointing out that Ishvara cannot destroy the Satchit Ananda Atma, not because he is not almighty, but because Ishvara is Atma. Atma is Brahman and Ishvara is Brahman. Therefore, Atma and Ishvara are the same Brahman. The destroyer, Ishvara, is Atma. What is to be destroyed is also Atma. How then can there be destruction when there is no distinction between the agent and object of destruction? So, here in this paragraph, Ishvara, the so called creator, Brahma plus Maya is Ishvara, the creator of the whole world, right? So, that is equated to Brahman. Ishvara is Atma. So, therefore, there is no way the destroyer, what is to be destroyed, is also Atma. How then can there be destruction when there is no distinction between the agent and object of destruction? See, in order to destroy something, you need a second thing. But when they both are the same, what is to be destroyed? How can you destroy?
So what is destroyed? It is said Atma is destroyed. So this was confusing when we read previously also.
See, shouldn't God be able to destroy anything? See, no, that Shankara says that no one can destroy this Atma, not even Ishvara, the Lord. But shouldn't God be able to destroy anything? Shankara is not trying to belittle God. See, there is no God apart from here. What there is only that non duality. Sar Advitiyam. Ekam Advitiyam. So, when there is Ekam Advitiyam, how can there be any other coming and destroying this? Right? So, he was merely pointing out that Ishvara cannot destroy the Satchit Ananda Atma, not because he is not almighty, but because Ishvara is Atma. Atma is Brahman and Ishvara is Brahman. Therefore, Atma and Ishvara are the same Brahman. The destroyer, Ishvara, is Atma. What is to be destroyed is also Atma. If you go back to the previous, Sat is pervading through Asat. How then can there be destruction when there is no distinction between the agent and object of destruction? So when I read further, let's read further. It might get clearer. A subject-object relationship, Kartru Karma Sambandha, is not possible between Ishvara and Atma. But is there not a relationship between the devotee and Ishvara? Yes, if the word devotee means an individual, Atma identified with a given body mind sense complex. Ishvara can destroy or help a devotee, elevate or give punishment, but Ishvara cannot destroy the Sat Atma because both are identical. They have no subject object relationship. Perhaps it might be argued that one part of the subject can destroy the other part, just as we can take a knife in our hand and destroy ourselves. If one hand can amputate the other hand, why cannot one part of the subject, Atma, destroy the other part? Cannot Atma also commit suicide in this way? Such destruction could only happen if Atma had parts, which it does not have. It is avyaya, indeclinable, indestructible. He's clear, any doubt that might come, it's like really getting clarified. Hats off to Krishna in describing the Atma in such a manner. So even those doubts get nullified.
Yeah, Jay Gurudev, I just had this thought like the suicide thing. I was just thinking about that.
Which one?
The one, the suicide, no? Suicide
Ah,
example. When
right.
you said it cannot destruct itself, I was just saying self destruction is possible. This was the thought that come
Mm,
in my mind.
right. It cannot. Because it has to have parts in order to even commit suicide. You need something, no, to commit suicide. You need your hands, you need a rope, you need a knife or whatever, or tablets, whatever means to commit suicide. But Atma is partless. See, it is Purna. It's something that is so full, and that is all there is. So when that is that fullness, how can there be destruct? That is all there is. Ekam Advitiyam. See, when you say Atma has committed suicide, there has to be someone else saying Atma, you know, saying that yes, Atma has committed suicide, right? So who is that is saying this? That is Atma. So you go on. He's the Karana Karanaya, the cause of causes. That witness consciousness that remains, that in and through, that pervades in and through, that which cannot be destroyed, that which is that which does not have parts. So there cannot be relationship between Ishvara and Atma, because Ishvara is Atma, but there can be a relationship between devotee and Ishvara. The devotee, when identified as a jiva, given body mind complex, Ishvara can destroy or help a devotee, elevate or give punishment. But Ishvara cannot destroy the Sat Atma, because both are identical. They have no subject object relationship. So when you're taking it as a devotee, as limited as a body mind sense complex, that you can have a relationship between the devotee and the Lord. That relationship can be there. But that Sat Atma, which is pervading through even this devotee, and that is one, that is Advitiya.
Brahmaraji, here that Ishvara and Atma is not different, it is said, but Ishvara is a Atma plus Maya. So, means like wise people also knows Sat and Asat. So, Ishvara, how do you say then it is exactly similar because it is conscious witness, Ishvara.
Hmm. Exactly similar to what? See, the whole Jagat itself is
Maya.
Maya, is an illusion. And we read yesterday that Vedanta is not about unfolding Maya. Maya is something which is indescribable.
Mhm.
We are not here probing and trying to figure out Maya. We're unfolding Ishvara. We're unfolding Atma.
Correct.
Because no matter how much you try to understand Maya, It beats your imagination. You'll go round and round, like which came first, the hen or the egg? You can go round and round and round, spend all your life going around which came first, hen or egg, right?
Yeah, but what is seen by us, which that itself cannot be explained. The one which cannot be even seen, felt, of course, felt. When you say I am, that I, it is very abstract for us, right? How can we explain that?
That is where you go back to your deep sleep state. You don't know anything, but still you're able to say, when you get up, you're able to say, Aham kimapi na janami sukhena maya nidra anubhuyatam. What is that I? There has to be something, right? That knowledge, how are you able to get that knowledge that everything else was absent for you? The world itself is non-existent in your deep sleep. But still you were able to recognize, realize, yes, I had deep sleep. So what is that I? That
This
is
I and the mind, many times we get confused with, right?
because the mind is pervaded by this I. The mind has no separate existence apart from the I. The mind and everything else is part of the asat. It is as though existent. It's all mithya. What is Maya by definition? Ya ma sa Maya, right? That which is not, but as though appears as if it is. Examples are all the mirage and rope, a snake on the rope. So similarly, our mind, my mind, your mind, everybody else's mind is nothing but a superimposition of the. There is no mind if there is no Atma. Atma is the one that illumines the mind.
As though Maya means if our body is there, so it is like body is there, which is a Sat. So only Sat exists behind that.
See, again, going back to, I know
Hmm.
we might have this doubt. So when the body is destroyed, isn't the Atma destroyed?
No,
But when you go back to the previous verse, that isness does not get negated.
destroyed.
The
Hmm.
body is not there. But what is there? Ashes is. Ashes are or ashes is. And the ash is. Correct?
Hmm.
Now
Isness. Yeah.
you go on subdividing that ash. You say atoms, atom
Hmm.
is. Then particles is. Then what continues? You continue. So that which remains,
Hmm.
that isness is the satvastu. See, when the body dies, when the physical body dies, it is it is destroyed, destructible. But it is not
Hmm.
indestructible. It is destructible. It can be
Destructible.
destroyed. But what is being destroyed is only this physical body, mind, sense complex. But what is that remains?
So even in that
The
case, we can
isness.
say mind, intellect is it is also like it though exist, but
Yeah,
behind that only Sat is there. So it is also come in the Maya.
correct.
Mm.
That is what the whole of Tattva Bodh is, no? Tattva Bodh
Mm.
is what? It is about giving definitions. It is the
Mm.
it's
Correct.
giving definitions of how the world is created, how is
Buddhi
the
and all that.
universe created.
Hmm.
So that is why this prakarana granthas are important. When our they are the basis. It's like giving your definitions so that we can understand these other scriptures better. So Brahmashraya Maya, Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika Maya asti. And
Can't hear you, Brahmaraji.
no, I'm not saying anything. So
Okay.
Buddha had this thing of everything is empty. He was saying Atma is emptiness. He was Nastika, right? But then what did Shankara say? He simply asked one simple question. He's who is that saying it is empty?
Hmm. Hmm.
That is you.
Hmm.
That chit vastu, that is knowing that it is empty, that chit vastu is indestructible, it is eternal. That chit is sat. And in the previous verse, we said, Dehi nosmin yatha dehe, kaumaram yauvanam jara, tatha dehantara praptihi dhiras tatra namuhyati. Just like how that dehi is that atma, it's just like how you change clothes, is changing one state to another state. Childhood evolves into youthhood, youthhood into old age into death, and death again into another body. So that what is changing is only the state is changing. But what remains, the dehi is, it is like the kaleidoscope, right? I mean, I don't know whether it's the appropriate example, but you keep turning it and it keeps changing it. Different pictures, different shapes and patterns keep coming up. So the world is like that constant kaleidoscope, changing all the time. But who is the one person seeing that? That witness, that witness, if you
Wow. Hmm.
extrapolate, that witness is Atma, Ishvara, Brahma, whatever name you give, they're all
Hmm.
just one. And that one is there in you, me, everything. That Chit principle, that Sat Chit Ananda, that. And even this, I'll read this part, these two paragraphs again. A subject object relationship, Kartru Karma Sambandha, is not possible between Ishvara and Atma. But is there not a relationship between the devotee and Ishvara? Yes, if the word devotee means an individual, Atma identified with a given body mind sense complex. Ishvara can destroy or help a devotee, elevate or give punishment, but Ishvara cannot destroy the Sat Atma because both are identical. They have no subject object relationship. Perhaps it might be argued that one part of the subject can destroy the other part. See, they're trying, both Shankara and Swamiji are trying to clarify, any possible doubt that might come, they're explaining it off. Just as we can take a knife in our hand and destroy ourselves, if one hand can amputate the other hand, why cannot one part of the subject, Atma, destroy the other part? Cannot Atma also commit suicide in this way? Like you gave the example of the black hole, right? Can it not be like that? Such destruction could only happen if Atma had parts, which it does not have. It is avyaya, indeclinable, indestructible. It's like the ocean.
Here that here that a devotee and Ishvara relationship, in that Ishvara can punish the form, that body or something like that, but that such behind that, in the devotee, that form, that cannot be destroyed. Like this, it is explaining, correct?
Right. Right.
Mm.
Again, let's not say Ishvara is punishing the devotee, because it is as though ultimately you create
Yeah.
your own blueprint.
Yes. Yes.
We should not take this and then quote it somewhere else saying, "Eh, it
No.
says
No.
that Ishvara gives punishment." No,
uh,
our understanding is for our to just give an example that Ishvara and devotee are different and they can be affected. That is what is mentioned here. But ultimately, we know Ishvara is not sitting up there and deciding, okay, this person has to get this, that person has to get that. It is our own blueprint. We put up our own blueprint through our karma. That we know, we understand that, right? Here it was only mentioned as a difference between if you're taking a devotee to be a limited body mind sense complex.
But how can then suppose the wise person or guru person, like guru means, if we perceive as a guru or wise person, as a Ishvara, then they can elevate or punish. So how can we figure out it? This is punishment means. Sorry, I am asking so many questions.
No, no, it's good to clarify.
Means how then Ishvara can punish? Means that, suppose wise person is like Ishvara, Brahman, everything, because he knows Sat Vastu, Asat Vastu, and it is like Ishvara because he knows Maya and Sat also. So how it can punish the devotee? The way, means the process or something like that.
No, that is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
See,
Elevate we can understand because of, means our life has grown with guru in our life, that we can understand.
this thing is also as though it's not
Ah,
he gives punishment. No.
ah. We
Ultimately, when
feel
you
it
look at
like that.
karma angle, it is
Ah.
your karma that you get. Either punya, papa, whatever it is, or
Karta
adrishta phala.
karma.
It's all based on your own karma.
Hmm.
It is your
Okay.
karma also that you're getting a guru.
Hmm.
And your effort is there, no?
Hmm. Correct.
That is there. But of course, in the presence of the Satguru, all this happens. That is the adrishta phala that is happening. But then there this is only given this example, this paragraph is only to say that there can be a subject object relationship between Ishvara and a devotee.
Hmm.
But when you look at that non difference, that the Sat Atma and the devotee is nothing other than Ishvara, there is no subject object relationship. So,
Hmm.
what is being destroyed is only the body mind sense
Hmm.
complex. That is getting elevated or, punished, so to say.
Hmm.
But deep within, what is the essence
Nothing
of
can be
the jiva?
destroyed. Hmm.
That
Hmm.
is same.
Hmm.
You cannot have a subject-object relationship between that essence of the person, the tattva of the person, and atma, because they're the same, and that is partless. It is does not have parts, so it cannot destroy its other part. It is full. It's like the ocean. Ocean is full. A part of the ocean, like a jiva, for instance, a wave that comes, it rises for some, it can get destroyed. The wave can be small wave or big wave, all that can change. But what remains, that nature of that ocean, that water, that you cannot separate. It is no difference between the water of the wave and water of the ocean. The essence is the same. The form, once that nama rupa forms, that can get destroyed.
Just for a small example, when we move away from knowledge, for example, if I miss this session, I feel like a punishment. We
Uh-huh.
are getting uplifted uh, through this knowledge, and when we move away from this knowledge, it feels like a kind of, something wrong done somewhere in my karma,
Yeah.
so I am unable to.
That is what Gurudev has somewhere defined Papa as something, or even here, I think Swamiji has also mentioned it. Papa is anything that takes you away from yourself, that gives you that pain. That is Papa. Papa is not something that Ishvara gives up there, stands, as judgment day, and he metes out punishment. No, it is our own um, inner state of mind. So heaven or hell are not outside of you. You create heaven or hell within you. When one is centered, happy, joyful, and peaceful, that is heaven. And anything that takes you away from the center is then papa, is that punishment. And like you rightly said, anything that takes you away from Atmajnana, that takes you away, Bahirmukha, becomes a punishment, so to say. We'll stop here today and we'll take on the 18th verse tomorrow. ॐ लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु जय गुरुदेव
Let us sit comfortably, easily. First, let us shake our hands. Shake our hands, and then let's keep our hands on our lap, or however you feel comfortable. And let's close our eyes. Let's keep our spine erect and body relaxed. We came into this planet weighing just 4 kilos or 5 kilos. Recollect or remember the weight of your body. It is 60 kilos, 70 kilos, whatever that is. Place your weight on the chair or on the floor you are sitting right at this point. Let's take a deep breath in. Hold the breath and let go. Honor your own body. Your body is the precious gift to you from nature. Become aware of your whole body. Skins, tissues, muscles, blood vessels, bones, and all the internal organs. Your body is a precious gift to you. Now let us come to the second dimension, your breath. It is our breath that is keeping our body alive. Your body is alive because of your breath. Take a deep breath in and let go. Incoming breath energizes the body and outgoing breath brings relaxation. This is happening all the time. Let us honor our own breath Become aware of the air all around you. Like fish in the water, we are in air. Relax more and more. Let's take our attention to the top of the head and become aware of the empty space above our head. Become aware of the space in the entire room that you are sitting. Embrace all the thoughts, pleasant or unpleasant, good or bad. Become aware of a point right in the center of your heart, center of your chest. And take a deep breath in and breathe out and relax even more. As the body relaxes, the mind expands. And as the mind expands, your body finds deep relaxation. This moment is nothing to do and nothing to know either. Just let go and relax. Repose in yourself. You are a fountain of love. You are an ocean of peace. Repose in yourself. Take a deep breath in with a smile and breathe out with a smile. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So as you breathe out, you may open your eyes.